to another great episode and entertainment ahead of this weekend's rugby between the All Blacks and South Africa as we head into the Rugby World Cup in a very short period of time, Gabsy. It's getting very close and very exciting in the same breath. But Gabs, it is a warm-up match this weekend, but it's also a test match. So, in terms of injuries, do we just ask them to not give their full 100 and go out and play 80%?
Hi, Gordy. First of all, lovely to see you as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is really a warm-up game. I think that both teams take this one very seriously and they see it as a international test match. I mean, if you look at the teams that's been announced, it's, full strength teams. I mean, just maybe one or two things to discuss in a Springbok backline. But other than that, the All Blacks have selected, possibly their strongest team up front. We've got a really strong team. If you look at the last 5 games between these two teams, also All Blacks taking 3, Springboks taking 2. I think it's going to be a super competitive game. Super excited on neutral ground at Twickenham. So very excited to see this game on Friday evening. I can't sleep at night at the moment.
Gabsy, so yeah, it is a warm-up match. It's also a test match. It's a great opportunity for both teams to go into this tournament with some momentum. And it could be a possible quarterfinal. Who knows? So
very
there's
much.
a lot of bragging rights up for grabs. Gabsy, let's move into that Springbok squad or team announcement for this weekend. It came out on Monday. What do we make of that forward pack and the bench? It's a 6-2 split. Is this the strongest forward pack that we could select?
Yeah, I mean, Goody, I think we're finally starting to see some continuity, also seeing a bit of stability in this forward pack. I mean, it's for me, we said it last week, we can expect to see Eben playing this weekend if we go full strength. The likes of Franco Mostert coming in at 5 as well, obviously with Flote Jager not being there. So I would quite comfortably say this is probably the strongest pack of forwards you can select right now, with Dwayne Vermeulen being the informed player above Jasper Wiese for me personally, especially since last weekend Jasper played well, but not, for me, he didn't do enough to say that he's better than Dwayne at this stage. So for me, that's the strongest back up front that you could possibly select right now. And let's just once again take a second for Siya Kolisi. Man, he was good. Wow, it was
Yeah, he
good to
was
have
on
him.
fire, wasn't he? I mean, he was
Yeah.
running like a man possessed. Didn't look like he missed 4.5 months of rugby at all. I
Yeah.
mean, there was that one instance where he ran down that Welsh player from behind. It just that, you know, players play for him. It's not just his leadership; it's what he does on the field, and it really rubs off on the players. So it was fantastic to see him there.
Yeah, also, just a quick one there. Did you see also that incident with Willie Leroux where he really went to the ref and he said sorry and it ended up being a penalty try? Just that leadership ability that he has. It's just, yeah, I'm super happy to have him back. I think he's, a huge player for us on and off the field. But other than that, quite happy with this pack of forwards. Really excited to see what they will do against one of the world's best. Obviously, we have seen that, they have struggled a little bit against the All Blacks in some of the previous games because those boys are also matching them up front. So this will be, with all the respect to Wales, quite a different challenge, of course. We will not just, I don't want to use the word annihilate, but we will not annihilate them up front. Anyways, let's dig into that backline. I mean, that's the big talking point here, Goran. What do you make of the exciting combination of Andre Esterhuizen and Canon Moodie pairing up for the first time against the likes of the Barrett and the Ikoyani combination? I mean, that's a massive match to play your first game at 13.
Yes, at professional level, it's his first game at 13. We know that he played outside center number 13 at school level. That is Canon Moodie, and you would think, yeah, that's ages ago, but no, the lad is only 20 years old, so it'll still be very fresh in his memory playing 13, and he wouldn't be trusted in that position by Jock Ninoba and Rassie Erasmus if they did not have enough confidence in him. And at this stage, anything that Canon Moodie does touches, or anything that he touches turns to gold. So he's got a great read on defense. So they're pretty confident in him performing that role, and he might do the entire 80 against Riku Ioane in that 13 jersey. So because we don't see a replacement for him on the bench, on outside center. So him playing with Andre the Giant on inside center That is a great combination, a great center combination on paper at least. Let's see how it goes against Jordie Barrett and Rico Ioane, who, in my opinion, have been extremely, extremely good for the All Blacks. So that's a big test for the young man. Yeah, let's see how it goes. There's a lot of rotation in that backline, right? I wouldn't say it's our full strength backline, but now is the chance to test, right, these micro combinations and build more depth in that 13 position. Obviously, with Lukhanyo being out, obviously Jesse Kriel also had a phenomenal game against Wales, but yeah, and that obviously sees the bench with only two backs coming in
Yeah.
there, with Willemse basically covering the back three. We know that Damien, Willie Leroux covering the back three, and Willemse
Yeah, I mean,
will most likely come into that center if necessary.
Yeah, I mean, Damien Willemse is starting this weekend, but obviously you have the likes of Willie Leroux on the bench that can come on 15, even run at 10 if you need him, and the likes of Reinach that could probably also cover the wing. And then obviously, we have a couple of locks in there again that I'm sure they need game time, is the likes of Erges Neyman and John Klein at this level together. So I'm very excited for them to come off the bench and also show their impact. I'm very excited about this team. It seems like the 6-2 split for the time being is what they're going with. Even though we have 4 scrum offs in the camp. But yeah, I mean, still no Andre Pollard, still waiting for his announcement. Anyways, Gweri, let's move over to the All Blacks. I mean, you have a philosophy on the All Blacks. They've basically selected a full strength team. If they had to play a World Cup final tomorrow, I would assume that would be the team they would select. What do you make of this team selection? What do you make of what will happen with that team?
Well, Gabsy, besides a few injuries, I think this is the strongest team that they can put out. No Brody Retallick, obviously, and no Shannon Frizzell, and those two arguably have been performing the best out of that pack. I mean, maybe not as well as Scott Barrett, but so in my opinion, they need to build maybe a little bit of depth in those positions. So you see now Scott Barrett and Sam Whitelock. I mean, that is obviously a great pairing on lock with Tupou Vai and is it Josh Lord on the bench there. So
Exactly.
those guys can really do with some game time. I've seen less rotation from the All Blacks than I do from like the Springboks or Ireland or
Or
France.
any other team for that matter.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
you've got a choice. Like either you build the depth, and then you make sure that you have two teams that can basically, slot in and without there being, any sort of drop in performance, or you can go with momentum. And it looks like the All Blacks are going to go with momentum into this competition, and hopefully that will drag them far enough to go all the way. I mean, they are an exceptional team, but have they
yeah,
built enough depth in those positions? That I am not so sure of. I mean, Anton Leonard-Brown is desperate for some game time. He's on the bench. David Avili, I don't think he's played so far. I mean, and he's also in the squad. So, where does he slot in? They've rotated their wingers and their back three quite a lot. So, I mean, that's good. But yeah, they've also gone with a 6-2 split, matching that physicality. With Cam Roygaard being on the bench instead of Finley Christie, he's a very exciting player. So it'll be good to see him run out. But yeah, Gabsy, I mean, one last little comment that I'll leave that I think does make a difference is Joe Schmidt in the squad. Now, he's an exceptional coach. We all know what he did for Ireland. But maybe his World Cup preparations is not as good because I mean we've seen what happened to Ireland in the past 2 World Cups where they've been phenomenal before the tournament starts and then dropped off their performance in the tournament, and that could be because they favored momentum and putting out their strongest team to keep on working on that. Instead of actually building depth in those positions and giving 2 teams enough game time to actually go and play this World Cup. So let's hope that it doesn't come to bite them. Maybe the All Blacks fans can mention something in the comments. Maybe I'm not correct in saying they didn't give enough game time to all the players. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
yeah.
Gabsy, anything
No,
from your side?
yeah, thank you for asking if I want to add something. I thought you're gonna just end it off here. No, Goody. Honestly, yeah. I mean, I think you said it very well. For me personally, it's just, these guys, especially the All Black players, they've been playing Super Rugby, which went on later than the URC. They've been playing a lot of rugby. The only concern I would really have is injuries. I mean, now of the likes of Retallick and also Shannon Frizzell being out, I mean, should they get one or two more injuries in lock and loose forward positions, they have to dig deep. I don't think they even have other players that they brought with. I mean, they brought in Josh Lord for this game. He wasn't in the initial squad that they announced. So that's the only concern I have for them. But we know what the All Blacks can do. We know how good they are in World Cups. And therefore, yeah, I'm not really concerned for their sake. I think, they're an excellent team. Super excited to see what's going to happen on Friday. I really hope that Andre Esterhuizen and Canon Moodie can, light up that Twickenham Stadium, because I do think that, should it go well, they have definitely the potential to be something for the future together. So, yeah, very excited. Guys, please let us know what you guys think will happen this weekend. Drop us your score predictions in the comments below. Also, join our Super Brew pool if you haven't done so already. Definitely going to have some nice prizes there. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and all the support over the last year. We really appreciate it. Thank you,
Enjoy
Gordy.
the rugby. Cheers,
Cheers,
guys.
guys.